Matthew Bryza. He joins me now live from Istanbul. Matthew is the former U.S. ambassador to Azerbaijan. Matthew, so glad you could join us today on the program. Talk to us first about what's behind these U.S. strikes in Iraq. The U.S. says it's partly in retaliation for the death of a U.S. contractor, but isn't that an extreme response?
Yeah, it would be an extreme response if it were just one attack that we're talking about. So these sorts of attacks by these Iranian-backed militias have been going on for quite some time. Back in May, this very group, Khatib Hezbollah, is accused of having bombed a Saudi oil pipeline. And then, as Secretary of State Pompeo explained, there have been continuing attacks on bases in Iraq where there have been U.S. forces. And so this is part of a cat and mouse game that's been ongoing between Iran and the United States ever since President Trump decided to pull out of the Iran nuclear agreement and reimpose sanctions that restrict the flow of Iranian oil through the Strait of Hormuz.
Matthew, what can you tell us about this militia group, the Kataib Hezbollah?
Well, it's one of a coalition of Iranian-backed Shiite militias that are under the umbrella of the Popular Mobilization Units, which has become a state within a state of Iraq. So it's a group of militias that fought ISIS, or Islamic State, successfully, but have established their own ministry, believe it or not, in the government of Iraq, under the strong influence of the government of Iran. They have become the target of much protest now by Shiite Iraqis who believe that these militias, like Khatib Hezbollah, are corrupt, have been extorting money from the population, and have been failing to deliver services.
So these strikes on this militia group took place in Iraq. What kind of influence does Iran have in Iraq, and is it growing?
Well, the strikes took place in 3 spots in Iraq and 2 in Syria. That's my understanding. And Iran's influence is enormous in Iraq. You know, as people here in the Middle East know, Iraq is a Shiite majority country that was dominated by Sunnis for so long under Saddam Hussein. And so since the U.S. invasion in 2003, it's the Shiites who've been in charge. But again, so you know, Iran is a Shiite country, so Iran has wielded its influence among the Shiite population of Iraq. But the protests that have been ongoing in Iraq for the past several months are actually of the Shiite population of Iraq against the Iranian-influenced government Shiite of Iraq, which has failed to deliver the basic services and jobs that young Iraqis and all Iraqis seek. But the Iranian influence is quite extensive in Iraq.
All right, Matthew, thank you for your time and for giving us your insight into this. Matthew Bryza joining us from Istanbul.